came out second half, and it's up to Ancelotti to manage those moments. He took really long to adjust the top three. Like, that's also going to be a challenge. Like, when do you take a Rodrigo off? When or if do you take an Mbappé off? When or if do you take a Vinicius off?
Well, I think no matter what year you're playing against Real Madrid, the motivation's sky high. It doesn't matter if it's Mbappé coming to this team or whatever. They knew they have to be better in transition because the balance is much different now when you have Mbappé playing the 9, because now they didn't play with the 9 last year and they won Champions League when they won La Liga. So now that you play with the 9, you're taking someone out of the midfield, which was Toni Kroos, who could pick apart teams, and you had more outlets in possession. You had somebody who could provide balance. They don't have that anymore. It's almost tilted super attack with 4, and the defending part of that was not sharp.
It's almost like they abused the verticality of it all, right?
The 4 or 5 maybe defending, and there's a lot of space in the middle. Ancelotti after the game said, "I don't like what I saw from my team. It's the first time that I'm going to come out and be like, where is the defending? You can't just attack, lose the ball, and kind of just, it wasn't good enough." So I think from that standpoint, Madrid knows it's the first game of the season. They have all this talent. They're going to get their opportunities. But in order to win championships, everyone has to play a part in the defending. When you lose the ball, the transition from attack to defense has to be at a 10. And if you have Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and Mbappe kind of just like, we'll get it back.
This isn't Liga. The quality won't just get you over the line.
No.
It's much more competitive, and everyone needs to be on the same page.
Yeah, and I think they have the unenviable task, right? They are the #1 team on everyone's schedule. Mallorca is a young team. I think it's their 4th year in a row now in La Liga. There's very few teams in the world that you are the #1 mission on everybody's schedule, right? Real Madrid is one of those teams, and I think we've set the bar now so high with the players that they have that Carlo Ancelotti now is tasked with that, finding the balance between everything. And when it doesn't go right, we sit here and we pick it apart, right? This could be the greatest team that we've ever seen at some point, but they still have things that they need to work on. And we said, Nico, in the Super Cup, it wasn't going to be polished in the beginning. But the hope is that it continues to get polished as the season goes on.
I try to analyze everything that we've said, that the media in general has said in Spain and around the world about this Real Madrid team, that we've given them a lot of flowers already. This team specifically, obviously deservedly so, because they won the Champions League, they won La Liga, they've just added the biggest superstar in European football at the moment. So how do you not keep on throwing flowers their way when there's a lot of issues to work? It's almost like there's this expectation, and maybe that's the standard of Real Madrid. You add the biggest superstar, and you're thrust into the most superlative of expectations, right? Win everything.
But that's always the case.
Right, but even
with or without Mbappe, though.
I agree, but it's even heightened now, and it's like
it does feel heightened.
There's like so little wiggle room for we see a game like this, and it's like, that was bad.
Yeah, so let's chat a little bit more on Kylian Mbappé. 0 goals, 0 assists, 4 shots, only 44 touches in this match. Whereas in that Super Cup game, he had much more of an impact and scored his first goal for Real Madrid. For him to be successful, Charlie, for them to get the most out of him, what does that look like?
Well, I think we saw it in spurts, in little moments with the Super Cup and in this match. They're in that phase where everyone's trying to be a little bit unselfish. I got to pass. And then you saw Mbappe to start this game. He's flying, and Vinny Jr. is open in the middle, but he opts to just take it himself, and his touches weren't sharp. In the match, you're seeing him move, even in the Super Cup. I thought, Mbappe looks a little off. His touches aren't quite there yet. You could tell he's not in form. He's not in his peak form right now. But I think when they are at their best, which we saw last year with Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo, is the movement, the unpredictability. You could see them. They're swapping inside out, changing up. The quicker that they play and they can get into open space, the better it is for them. And then that's when they got to figure out, okay, can I be myself and be selfish versus, okay, maybe I got to open up some space for Vinny Jr. and I got to play him quicker and allow him to get in. So it's finding that balance, and it's going to take time. You're dealing with every player in that roster and that attacking trio wants to be the best player on the team. They want to have the most goals. And so, you know, it's difficult because winning cures all, but they all want to be the best. And it's difficult. It's difficult for any manager in the world to try and say, all right, how do I deal with these egos? How do I get them to all play for each other, for the club, but also at the same time, what makes them different from any other players, having that selfish bone.
Yep. But if there's one man that can do it,
It's Carlo.
Carlo. Don Carlo Ancelotti.